And mind you, they're going to go against the winners of OpTic and Native Red. Native Red are already up 1-0 so far in the series.
Wow.
OpTic Gaming were dropped here into elimination bracket to begin with by Complexity after a game 5, and now it's OpTic Gaming that are in danger of falling to the same fate as Space Station Gaming, who dropped down to 6th place. OpTic can beat the... OpTic can do the same thing here. This is crazy to think about, but Native Red gonna have to try to do what seems to what was thought to be the impossible with a 10-kill lead. What am I watching right now? Tim, what is happening?
I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. This is Halo, and like I said before, this is the game. Halo Infinite is already a very close game in terms of competition. You know, every team is very close. I think Snakebite said it one time where, you know, you have multiple teams that can get first place at any event, just the way Halo Infinite is played. And you know, we're seeing a little bit of that here. We're seeing Native Red, who's taking advantage of an OpTic, who are probably down in the dumps right now because they are in the losers bracket, probably not feeling so hot in the mental side of things. And you know, Native Red smell it, and they're going right for it. 45 to 32 already. Native Red 47. They're looking to close this out right now and be up 2-0 in the series.
A strong sense of smell and a BR to match, but Lucid matches right back with a double kill of his own. Druk not gonna allow him to find the escape route there, putting the 48th kill for Native Red. We're just 2 kills away from going up 2-0 against the reigning champions, the world champions, the back-to-back land champions, OpTic Gaming. You're seeing a double push now, Native Red over toward utility side. Tala gets taken out, but Manny goes right after Formal. Druk not able to find the kill with the Dynamo, but the damage has been done. Soul sniping the soul of one as Native Red going up 2-0 against OpTic Gaming.
I'm so confused, Tony. I
know what's happening. I know what's happening. I know what's happening.
Oh, you do know? All right, tell me.
I know. I've watched enough SpongeBob to know that today's opposite day. We thought it was April 1st.
I hate
Today,
you.
April 23rd, 2023, it's opposite day.
Oh,
it's the only thing that makes sense here.
I'm sorry. Oh man, that is phenomenal. Maybe. I mean, Luce is still putting up good numbers. I believe he was 15 and 10 in that game, and I mean, this is honestly just a pleasure to be able to cast these. Like, this is great. It's definitely rough, you know, for OpTic. I'm sure that they're, you know, I think mental definitely has a factor here, but you know, can't count OpTic out. We're going to Streets King of the Hill. We've seen this. We've seen multiple iterations of OpTic on this map game type combination in grand finals and on LAN and all that. But we'll see what they're able to do on live. They're able to come back here. It looks like that oddball game went 2-0 as well. We didn't catch that, Tony, but a very convincing win there as well out of Native Red. So 2 convincing wins in a row. Can OpTic reset the mental and bring this series back is the question.
Well, now that I'm knowing that it's opposite day, there's no shot that I'm going to go against Native Red. I think Native Red not only beat OpTic Gaming, but they beat them 3-0 right here on Streets King of the Hill. I think it ends right here, right now. Now that I've had some clarity into the situation, you already 2-0'd an oddball. You already won 50 to 38. Now, let's be honest. That was a win. That wasn't just like when you just squeaked by in the Slayer, say, oh, it was close. It was, you know, and it go any way. And I'm like, no, you won 50 to 38 in a decisive win in that Slayer, and Native Red will be sweeping OpTic Gaming here on Streets King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, you know, we saw OpTic before when they got knocked to the elimination bracket. Tony, you and I were in the green room kind of talking, and I said, there's no way OpTic loses this. You know, OpTic ended up bringing it back, but Complexity closed it out. And, you know, maybe it is the case of them just not playing well today or whatever. You know, everyone kind of has off days. You know, everyone's human. There's no, I mean, even though we think Lucid's a robot, he is actually a human being. And, you know, Lucid might be having, you know, an okay day, but maybe it's just one of those days where you just gotta kind of shake it off, and you're down 0-2. It's time to take it up another notch, take it up another level for OpTic Gaming, and potentially reverse sweep this. I'm gonna be on the side of OpTic here, Tony. You can take the opposite day side from SpongeBob.
Hey, all I know is one thing. You can't spell get that native bread without native red. Native red are coming in hot right now. They feeling confident because not only are they up 2-0 in the series, but they went into the series knowing that they are the most dangerous team in the league. They know that nobody wants to go up against native red the same way that they didn't get upset by plenty of other teams. We've seen the likes of Protons and many others get the upset and get the jump onto native red is the same way that when they're running hot and when they're looking like this, they can feel unbeatable at times. And as of right now, native red have OpTic Gaming in their sight lines. And I say it time and time again, when you're looking for a fight, when you're looking for things to get down and dirty, you take it to the streets of New Mombasa. Game number 3, a must-win game for OpTic Gaming. Otherwise, they will get their lowest placing this year in HCS.
Now, listen, everyone's got a plan, Tony, until they're punched in the face. And I think at this point, you know, Native Red have come in confident. And honestly, I think Native Red is an incredible team. I think they're a little inconsistent, I will say, but I think they're an incredible team, and I think they play off of momentum. But when OpTic hunkered down and where they're able to really get that discipline in and play the game that they know how to play, we're talking back-to-back-to-back land champions. You know, online, they're a very solid roster as well. I think if they can do that here, this could potentially be a reverse sweep situation. Don't clip me or quote me, but I don't know. I think OpTic have it in them.
The winner of this matchup goes up to play against G1 in the top 4. There's only a few more squads left, Tim, and this tournament's getting tighter and tighter. Complexity phase, G1, OpTic, and Native Red, and these two are going at it. One is going to be going home. Will it be OpTic here in Game 3?
A little bit of stats to go off of if you'd like. OpTic, King of the Hill on streets. They have a 71% win rate. On the other end of Native Red, King of the Hill on streets, they have a 50% win rate. So keep that in mind when watching this. And keep in mind what I said about momentum. When Native Red has that momentum, and they're 2-0 against one of the best teams in the world, or arguably the best team in the world, that's got to bode them confidence and potentially give them enough momentum to potentially close this out here.
Yeah, you can hand me the stats, you can hand me the papers, but for those of y'all who have the emotes in the chat, go ahead and drop them real quick, because y'all know what I be doing with the papers. If you got the emotes, throw them up in the chat right now. OpTic Gaming starting off. Half progression, almost half progression already done with this hill number 1. Meanwhile, Native Red find the kills that they were looking for. They get their way right back in it. Trippy trying to find some kind of entrance here with this Bulldog. He can lay down the law immediately to take down one. Even able to put another down to one shot, but still, OpTic Gaming fall 2 down. Numbers advantage for Native Red. If they can clear out this PD side, they can get the advantage they're looking for, but you're dealing with the controller player of the year in Formal.
Yeah, he gets a double, but again, the sandbox stands tall, and a shotgun will take him out of PD, which will give Native Red those PD/A spawns. Tall gonna play off of that spawn. Trippy does a really good job right there of using the shroud screen to stay alive. And because he's able to stay alive, he's able to get that couple shots on that player. But again, all 4 down for OpTic Gaming, and Native Red have control of this first hill.
And I'm happy that we're watching this game from beginning to end, because I want to see, like, is this OpTic underperforming? Is this Native Red overperforming?
Yeah.
Or is it a combination of the two? This is the first time that we're gonna see both of these teams, on screen here, and find out what's been going on with this OpTic Gaming, who are down 0-2 and staring down the face of adversity, staring down the face of possibly a sweep here by Native Red. Lucid coming out with the rockets. OpTic clearing this side of the map. It looks like this hill number 1 might end up going to OpTic Gaming, as Native Red end up going 3 down, make it 4. Not only will Lucid be responsible for controlling and finishing off this hill, but Formal is already watching the top Ivy side of the subway side of the map.
And that's what the OpTic we're used to seeing right there, right? The beautiful chemistry. But this is the Native Red we're used to seeing. Look at them holding forward with aggression. Formal does have that shotgun behind. He's got a nice little flank, but they all turn. Wow. All 3 of them turn at the same time. 3 down for OpTic. Native Red get the very first hill. Maybe I'm going to eat my words today, Tony.
You know, as much as I talk about OpTic being so good at multitasking, the thought process was there, but just barely missing out on that execution. And plays like that are going to cost you. It's high risk, high reward. Native Red, but that 4-man push that hill, say we're not giving up on this, and they could have gave up on. They could have punted and 4-man push Subway and set up for the next one. They said no. If there's even a split second on that board, let's see what we can do. And OpTic were not ready for it. Native Red steal hill number 1. But it's Formal that has that Subway side setup control here on top. Stalker, which is so hard to get a player off of.
Yeah, and OpTic have a really nice hold. You see Lucid at the bottom of the stairs there. Trippy was on B Street, so you see Lucid transfer over to B Street to now hold that lane. Those B stairs will be replaced. Actually, Lucid ends up going back to B stairs, and he's holding the cross from this purple side. I believe he has the shotgun in hand as well, but OpTic are holding really well here, and this is what I'm talking about. This is such a solidified hold by OpTic and such a quick hill. They're just able to get that control, put that green wall up, and very few teams can make it through. And there it is, Formal starting to heat up as well. He's going to be 12-6 to start this game.
It's funny you mention that. When I think of, like, you know, that arcade side of the map, there's so much open spaces, so many ways you could enter the arcade side, especially on multiple sides of the map, being on the long side. But in Subway, there's very little entrance, so I feel like the setups are so much easier to hold. And if you could win your gunfights and get those kills, you saw it right then and there. OpTic Gaming, the green wall just built different and able to withstand any pushes from Native Red.
They do have a little bit of a hold here, but Lucid gonna try and help trade out Trippy's kill. He does just that. No more rockets able to be used. And another trade on the tire side is gonna force Native Red out and force them to spawn on C side. That's why Lucid has pushed up so far. He forces the spawns all the way across the map, and now they've got to defend. Once they get this information that the push is not happening, they've got to defend on that cafe side.
Big kill coming out of Lucid to clear out the B side of the map, and now the rest of OpTic just have to focus onto the purple side. That's exactly what happens as Native Red end up getting wiped. Not only able to take the Subway side, but even able to take back-to-back hills. Does OpTic Gaming? It's a 2-1 start, and we still have 3 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock as OpTic Gaming find themselves first progression here on the fourth hill as well.
The scary part is OpTic is already set up. You see APG on that heaven side blocking the PD spawns. You see Trippy watching the spawns from C stairs. They've got a lock in the setup here. It takes 1 kill and Native Red can push in, but Druck dies very early, which means this push is going to be nullified. Actually, APG goes down. They get trades as well. Oh, well, they were supposed to get the trade on the Lucid, but a massive double kill out of him. And now OpTic 75% of the way through on this next hill again.
How many times we talk about when that hill moves over towards bottom pit, whoever has the lead in the 3-1 situation is able to just play the clock. Well, that's what OpTic are affording them right now, but it's 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Like, that's a lot of time for OpTic to try to play Slayer here. Do they elect to actually play the time, or they say, nope, you know, let's stick to our guns? Just a little bit of time means more kills for us.
I think what it comes down to is control of the rockets like you see APG have right now. They got to get a couple dead, and then they can go for that bottom center hill. The problem is, if you don't get that C control, bottom center is very difficult. And APG, he's going to get a trade with those rockets, but 3 down for OpTic Gaming, and now Native Red looking to get this hill. But like you said, it's not going to be easy. This is going to be a very difficult hill for Native Red to get. But look at the read from Soul Snipe on those B stairs. That was a really nice nade.
Well, the seaside spawners are coming in. You see 2 members of OpTic Gaming already addressing the back Ivy side and working in tandem in the 2v1 Druck, not standing a chance against both the BRs of Formal and APG, as that seaside is already manned by OpTic. You're seeing nobody from OpTic heading toward the hill. They said, you know what? We are indeed going to play 3 minutes and 18 seconds worth of Slayer, and already a minute off the clock and barely any time progression here for Native Red.
Yeah, and they get 2 dead already. Slayer is what they're really good at, right? Because all they have to do is hold a solidified setup on a strong part of the map. And see, they're going for the hill here, but like I said, they only want to go for this hill when they have control and they have a couple dead. They get 1 dead on the side of Native Red. Formal decides to go up towards the stronger side to help out Lucid. And this is the textbook Halo I'm used to seeing OpTic play. This is where they shine. This is where they can utilize that chemistry. being one of the longest standing teams in Halo Infinite, they can really utilize that chemistry to continue to get these kills and continue to play that clock. 2 minutes left.
Multitasking here, OpTic playing a little bit of that hill time, even a little bit of Slayer as well, but now they got the 3 down. Looks like they feel comfortable enough to play well within the zone. Like you said, the top C, the C side is being manned. They got the kills, they have the rockets. Why not try to play and end this game earlier? But Native Red having the strong side of the map over towards C. A minute 40 seconds on the clock. You see a little bit of a touch coming out of Native Red, but Formal with the stick is going to be able to take him down immediately. APG and OpTic Gaming watching the purple side. Meanwhile, Native Red taking a direct angle right towards the mid.
Yeah, it's the 1v1 that needs to be won here. Lucid versus Soulsnipe. But Soulsnipe's going to come out on top of that one, and with the Stalker rifle being utilized here from him on the top of C, he's an integral part of this hill on bottom center. He's the catalyst for them to potentially convert this one. And the amount of damage he's doing is good, but is that damage able to be cleaned up is the question. And yes, it does get cleaned up by Manny right there. They have the spike control as well, which is another big part of the sandbox here on Streets. And now 75% of the way through this hill is Native Red.
Triple kill.
Native Red were trying to hide in the shadows to try to get as much hill progression as possible, but Trippy and that triple kill is gonna bring them to the light. OpTic Gaming halfway done with the progression on their hill. A minute 14 seconds on the clock. They're going in towards that mid side. Talek trying to defend the C, but he's had to go through 2 different players. Bait and switch works perfectly to take down Trippy. APG and Lucid actually going all the way over to where the purple side extending out. Meanwhile, Native Red having all of this time to swallow up. They're just a few seconds away from taking the middle hill tip.
Yeah, that was really good by OpTic right there. They kind of held hands on that purple side, and because of that, they were able to get those couple of kills and keep Native Red out of this hill. Like you said, 50 seconds remaining for Native Red to get a couple slays on the board and get this hill. The problem is they keep dying, and rockets are in the hands of OpTic again. So this is all but over here. Unless Native Red can get this kill on the rocket player, get control of C, OpTic are going to close this out.
Still having the rockets in hand, but taking a lot more damage than you expected here. The Shroud is out, and it looks like OpTic gonna play right through it, sitting in the corner of the hill with the rockets. Does Formal ends up taking down one, Talek down to 1 shot on the ATM side. Lucid gonna deal with them accordingly, and meanwhile APG like a rook on a chessboard, just watching all the way down the middle, making sure nobody from Native Red is able to cross easily. And with that, OpTic Gaming take their first game in the series, still needing 2 in order to knock out Native Red.
Yeah, no player on OpTic Gaming for that game, at least, having a weak game. And like I talked about, they're 3-time champions for a reason. They know when to step it up. They've got multiple levels to their game. It took a moment to just sit back and reset the mental, come through strong, and they did just that. They put the first one on the board, but Native Red still lead 2-1. And again, it's match point for Native Red here coming up next.
A 4-1 win. That's pretty dominant if you ask me on Streets King of the Hill. Oftentimes we see King of the Hill end 3-1. You know, oftentimes if it does end up going to 5 hills, it's because it's like a 2-2 split, and that 5th hill was necessary in order to win it. In that case, OpTic Gaming had the luxury of playing the time or the hill. They chose to play the hill ended early, even against Native Red. And now going into Stronghold's live fire, OpTic Gaming had that momentum, but how many times have we said Native Red being one of the better Stronghold teams in the league?
Right. I feel like they are. I feel like they're the pace at which they play, and we saw that in the first hill of that game, at least the previous game. We saw Native Red's ability to, you know, take up the pace of the game to a very, very fast pace, a very fast speed, and then work together as well. They just couldn't maintain that versus the solidified hold of OpTic. Question is, can they do that on live fire Strongholds? I think they can. I think they're definitely, this is one of their comfortable game types, just due to the fact that they can rotate, they can, you know, isolate players off a spawn. We'll find out here though. Can OpTic Gaming tie this up at 2 and play for a game 5, or will Native Red close this out in this game?
It's still so crazy to hear you say that. You know, this could be potentially the final time that we see OpTic Gaming here in the top 6 in this tournament. And meanwhile, OpTic still have to not only win this, but then also ice up in a game 5, which we know they've done time and time again. But it's crazy seeing OpTic in this scenario, especially here in the elimination bracket. And Native Red starting off hot, double cap, 27-0 run, but it's APG with the overshield.
And to solidify what you said from Mr. Snow's stats in the back, Strongholds is Native Red's best game type, but there is a catalyst to that. Live Fire is their weakest map on that game type. And we know from history that, of course, in the beginning of Season 1, when Halo Infinite first launched, Live Fire is a very strong map for OpTic Gaming. It definitely hasn't been the case thus far. They've been dominant, but not as dominant as they were. We'll see if they're able to bring that dominance here to the game.
Stronghold capture.
41-12 run here by Native Red. Sniper rifle and double cap here for OpTic Gaming. It's APG that wants to push up over towards his tower side, swapping spots with Trippy so we get the most angles on the map. Looking right down the line of sight here to Sandbag side. APG making sure that nobody on Native Red gets through easy. The first shot gonna go in, giving him the killing spree. The rest of OpTic Gaming making sure that nobody pushes over toward the big door side. Sniping comes in, takes down 1, needs to take down 2 more, but Native Red are overwhelming Bravo, and that will change hands.
And Native Red get 2 caps on the board. Once again, the shroud screen utilized in the hands of APG here. Trippy goes down a little bit early, so this puts APG in an interesting position. He does get that trade, but APG is going to be kind of alone here on this side on A. So instead, he opts to go towards his teammates on the C side and Nest side and get B instead. This is a good play because Manny, who's coming off a spawn, and Mr. Soul Snipe, who just spawned, are going to be spawning on this A side, and now APG can isolate them.
I love how Native Red see APG with that overshield taking B, and they want no problem. They peek at him and say, oh, that's overshield. We're out. We'll go over towards the Charlie side. We want no part of that. And with that, they're not able to take Charlie, not able to stop APG from taking Bravo as well. So that's a triple cap coming in for OpTic Gaming as they take the lead. Formal ends up going down. Native Red taking 1, but can they go after either one of the perimeter bases, Alpha or Charlie, while OpTic are still flying at them?
Yeah, OpTic look a lot more confident coming into this game number 4 here, and it's what you're used to seeing out of this squad, but Native Red still have a little bit of gas in the tank. They're continuing to hold this 2 cap. It is being contested on B, but you see the quick rotations and the quick pace of the game out of Druk here. This is what makes Native Red such a scary team to play against, is this pacing right here. He literally just went from sandbags all the way to C flat, all the way back to Nest. And he just doesn't stop, and it's really hard to keep track of. That's what makes Native Red good.
And with that, OpTic Gaming go 3 down. Native Red immediately capitalize on it and make sure that they get that triple cap. OpTic are able to come off a spawn and secure themselves Alpha, but now Native Red know exactly where the pressure's coming from. They've influenced that spawn over toward the A side. It's exactly where they wanted them. If they get another round of kills, that can be the overshield, but easier said than done. OpTic break out, and Foremost waiting for overshield already.
Yeah, but 2 are down. Make that 3 down. They put the shroud screen down. OpTic 3 dead, still get that overshield, and that's a little bit of a blunder there. Native Red weren't strong on that side of the map. Formal gets that OS, gets the shroud screen, makes sure that that OS is 100% his, and now he's trying to get A. It gets reset. He gets the beatdown, and OpTic do have numbers advantage, but unfortunately that reset is going to cost them some resources here on this A side.
Yeah, you know, Native Red might have sacrificed the overshield, but they still end up getting a triple cap and putting OpTic 3 down. Eventually, OpTic do spawn up and get the kills, and we see a double cap back in favor of OpTic Gaming, but that's just time that Native Red have bought themselves to come off a spawn, make their presence known, you know, kind of gather up here. Now you're seeing a triple push out of Native Red. APG coming out of nowhere, taking down Manny, but still a lot of time the Native Red had bought themselves by securing that triple cap and the kills necessary as well back before overshield came up.
Love the rotation out of OpTic there. They realize A will be where the spawns are happening, so they end up going towards C. But Native Red a little bit quicker on the transition. They get an A-B hold here. It's up to Formal with the plasma pistol to find an opening. They do find one kill. Formal's not able to get the second, though. The trade will come out. There it is. OpTic so quick to get those trades in their favor, and because of that, they get a 2-cap on the board.
124 to 107 lead still for Native Red. OpTic Gaming still in that must-win scenario where they have to force a game 5 and beat Native Red in one of their best game types here. Holding on to that double cap in 20 seconds. We'll see an overshield coming up. We know Druk is up high here, not expecting the push out of Trippy. Beautiful flank as Formal was already ready for another overshield. The challenge out of Manny. Talik now coming out of the key door side. They have to pressure OpTic. They cannot give away another free overshield here. Talik able to take down Formal. Druk getting beautiful long range shots. APG down to one shot but refuses to go down. And with all of that, Trippy steals another overshield here for OpTic Gaming, 2 in a row. And that means OpTic are right back on the offense.
Yeah, I believe OpTic have had pretty much every OS here, and yeah, that OS is gonna guard them this offense that they want. They're able to get C and A and continue to get time on the board, and granted, they got that overshield without a shroud screen that time, so a lot of teamwork coming through. 3 dead for Native Red. The last player alive is top center. Gonna drop inside the vents, but look, that gives Native Red that OS spawn, which could be bad for Trippy if he stays around too long.
I feel like one of the things that make OpTic Gaming so dangerous that anybody can pop off any given time, you know, maybe APG not having the best game statistically last game, but at the end of the day, they won. Now you're seeing them dropping 13 and 6 right now, which is quite impressive. Like, when it comes to OpTic Gaming, you know, obviously Lucid is the MVP, but it's really not about the individual play. It's about how well they work as a team and how icy they are and how well their communication is. It's that teamwork that makes the dream. Or maybe the real MVPs is the entire team. You know, it's the MVPs now for OpTic Gaming because the most valuable team, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they put a lot of stock in that too. They put a lot of stock in, you know, everyone on the team playing a role that gets them the win. And we talk about APG not being that very shiny stat player, but does so much in the game to allow his team to have these openings. Like, look at right here, right? He's putting multiple shots into the player's top center. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's able to do so much damage as well. And because of that, 3 go down for Native Red. And OpTic continue to hold a B and C cap, but that will be flipped here shortly.
OpTic Gaming may have not started off hot, but so far in the middle game, they've really taken over, and they've obviously taken over this game in the scoreboard as well. It's 187 to 124. OpTic having firm control as yet another overshield is coming up, and yet another time where Native Red are not able to get the slays necessary in order to secure the overshield. In fact, Native Red are the ones who end up going 3 down, so Lucid flies right in. He's not going to allow Native Red to steal A, at least not for free. He's going to make them pay for it. And now while that happens, you know, they hold on to the BC setup. OpTic continue to put points on the board. That overshield is so powerful, and one of the largest reasons why OpTic are able to come right back in the game.
Yeah, constantly getting that overshield. And like you said, you actually said it right at the beginning of that sentence there. They time it, right? They time the slays based on when that OS is coming up. They make sure to get that numbers advantage at the perfect time. And they've gotten that OS every single time this match. 210 to 129. B being contested here by APG, but it will go in the favor of Native Red, I believe, and that will be a triple cap for Native Red here momentarily.
Might be exact what Native Red need. Like you said, the triple cap is in, and now Manny's able to get away with both weapons, the Heat Wave and the S7 over towards the big door side he goes. As I believe there's one OpTic player that's looking to try to push up onto Bravo. It's actually APG. APG actually just hiding in the corner right now, and they don't know it. He comes in out of nowhere, secures that kill, and almost able to get the double kill, but OpTic end up going 4 down. Manny makes a play to get the triple kill. APG with that flank and just hiding and waiting for the right time, almost destroyed Native Red and ended this game.
Yeah, and that's what makes Manny's play so big, right? He gets that triple kill, and he also gets the power weapons as well. SoulSlime has to win this 1v1, and the icy play out of APG not going to get him B. They're going to get that reset on the B, so they continue to get time on the board here, and Talik has the sniper to work with for these spawns, but he's going to whiff one.
Double cap here for Native Red as they catch right back up, looking to take the lead that was rightfully theirs in the beginning. Drunk and Manny getting back-to-back kills. Drunk ends up taking down the third right as Overshoot is going up. OpTic go forward down, and Native Red getting what seems to be their first Overshoot in this game as Native Red moving in for the triple cap and looking to take the lead. OpTic Gaming have had control and were looking so dominant in the mid-game. They took the lead and looked like they were not turning back, but Native Red are making OpTic Native dead. The green wall is crumbling right now.
That was such an incredible play by Native Red. You saw right there at the very end, Talik trying to make sure that he trapped the spawns onto B so that they could go for that triple cap and force the spawns on OS. But unfortunately, his teammate wasn't in control of that nest side. Still, though, they get this double cap on the board, 232 and counting. Native Red looking to close out the series right here, right now.
10 more seconds needed. OpTic are the ones having to clutch up, and looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Soul Snipe and Manny with the back-to-back deaths. Talik winning that gunfight, but Formal comes in with the cleanup. So Charlie being taken away here. The Bravo Charlie setup. OpTic Gaming not out of it just yet. Native Red have to full-on reset. They need to secure these kills.
Yeah, it's a big life by Drunk, though. He has to stay alive up top center here. If he's the first one to go down because he's caught out of position, it's going to be very bad for Native Red. He goes down first. Soul Snipe's trying to clean up the kills, but look at the awareness right there out of APG. The huge kill. 2 down for Native Red now. OpTic trying to go for the head here, going for that triple cap, and they're going to get it. They're going to lock it in. A triple cap on the board, 242 and counting.
It looked like it was almost possible for Native Red to sneak in and steal that game, but OpTic doing what OpTic do best, and that's icing it up. However, a player does sneak into the Charlie side. It looks like they're able to deal with the Metallic coming out of nowhere. He ends up getting Lucid down to one shot, and the flank comes in. They were not ready for that. Manny has to take down Lucid, which he does. Bravo ends up getting taken at the same time. OpTic have successfully defended Charlie, but they forgot about Bravo in the meantime. Trippy now has to fight for dear life, and it said the spike grenade is going to obliterate him off of the map of live fire, and they have done it. Native Red have pulled off the upset. OpTic go down. OpTic go down.